What's up, guys? Garrett here again. For today, we're gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna try to go over my sort or my I guess my shipment, how I put together shipment for books. OA is a little different because you scan one product and you spit out a whole bunch of the same labels. But for this one, for books, you got like a whole bunch of individual books. At least I do right now. As I guess some people could have multiple, but I've got a lot of individual ones. So first thing first, the equipment. I got the scanner, the Terra scanner. Does really good when it's not plugged in. When it's plugged in, I'm having issues with it. And then I also have the Zebra GK420D. I just picked that because it's a printer that I used at like a previous job that I worked, and so I know it pretty well. I did try the Dymo first. It's the cheaper option. Yeah, I just had a ton of problems with it, and so I was like, you know what, I'm going expensive, and I haven't had any issues with it. The Dymo, I think that I was using the wrong label size and wasn't quite sure what I was doing with it. But with the Zebra, I've got experience with it, so that's the reason I went with it. A lot of people hate on it. I can't remember which one's the popular one for use, but I don't use that one. I think it's more in the mid price. That I just went expensive so that I could for sure have like people to call, and I knew that they would answer because I've called them before, and yada yada. Anyways, for books, I kind of start my setup with having them all kind of laid out right here. And then I'll just, as I scan them, I'll put them off to the side, and then, or scan and label them, I'll put them off to the side and go from there. I'm gonna try to do it this way. I tried to find my, whatchamacallit, my phone stand, but I can't find that thing. Anyways, of course, the first one doesn't have barcodes. That one's annoying. Let's see. So, finding the barcode like this, I want to make sure it is the ISBN barcode by looking at the front. Usually it'll have that 978. If you see that, then you know that's an ISBN. You can, well, if my scanner will work here. I gotta also click on the right thing. All right. Scan it in, let it auto-populate, and then, let's see, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this very well. This is definitely jerry-rigged. Let's see here. All right. Oh, this is also Inventory Lab, what I use to list everything. So for this book, I'm just gonna click on the title, see how much I paid for it. I have seller amp that saves what I sold it for, so it makes it kind of, or what I sold it for, what I bought it for. So it kind of makes it a little easier. Can you see what I'm seeing? Screwed over a little bit. There we go. Once this decides to load, any minute now. Of course. Internet is messing up. Whenever this happens, I mean, I can also view the order. So I paid $5.88 for it. 5.88. And as for listing, like, since I have to put in a list price, I'll look at the keep a chart, and I'll find the most expensive that it's ever sold for, and I'll price it there, because I'm not gonna like do the pricing thing right now. So it looks like 54 for the last year is the highest it's sold for, and that's gonna be the highest. Looks like mostly the highest it's sold for. So I'm just gonna throw it a 54 right here, 54, and then I'll make sure. So see, the last thing I listed was new, so I'm gonna put it used good. With books, I just kind of put everything at used good, unless it's wrapped. Bought it off Amazon, and then I'll put today's date, 11/06. But I usually put everything with used good, unless it's wrapped, then I'll do very good. And then if it's also like really messed up, then I'll decide maybe to put it as acceptable. But I try my best not to do acceptable. If it is like an actual acceptable condition, then I'm trying to return that thing. I'm not trying to send it in and get a bad review. After I do that, it spits it out. Get that thing off. And throw it on there like that. And that's the first book. Make sure you put a cover barcode. Like, see how this one's got a barcode. I'll even feed out one of these just so that I can throw it in there. And then put it to the side. And then move on to the next one. And just kind of keep doing that until you've got all your books listed. Sometimes I have issues with my scanner. Probably go more expensive with the scanner than I did. I went cheap. But it works, I don't have to type it in all the time. Unless it doesn't have barcode, of course, like that first book. And that's freaking annoying. Sometimes usually when I open them, I'm already like looking through them to see if it's acceptable or not. And I've got all these opened already because like I've got all these shipped here. I bought them individually online, so I got them shipped here. And as I'm opening them, I'm flipping through them to make sure that it's not like an acceptable condition, or if it is a very good condition. That's only if it's wrapped. I'm not trying to do the very good back and forth with people, because say I send this book in, like this is a pretty good book, no markings on the inside or anything, not really bent up or anything, a little marking right there. But say I did list this as a very good, and then as someone's unboxing it at Amazon, they pick it up and it gets ripped. It's no longer a very good book. Like at least whenever someone receives it, they're gonna look at that and be like, how did they say that this is a very good book? So there's forces outside of your control with that. But if it's wrapped, I'll feel a little more confident that something like that's not gonna happen. It could still get beat up, it could still happen. But if it's wrapped, that's kind of, I guess, a saving grace for you for whenever someone like receives it. They can be like, man, this got messed up all was being shipped because it's wrapped and it looks great besides this one little ding. But that's just my opinion. I don't really have a rhyme or reason why I think that way. It's just the way I think. I'm trying to put myself in the customer's shoes just to see how it is. Anyways, once I've got this all loaded up, I'll show you. But yeah, there's number 2, and then move on. Anyways, once I've got it all, say I've got it all done and everything, I'll go through I'll create the batch, and I won't box it until I've got the go-ahead, or sorry, the end product, god dang it. Once Amazon has created my shipments, that's what I'm looking for. Once they've created my shipments, that's when I'll box it. What I've done in the past is I'll scan everything in, I'll have this big old pile of books, and then I'll box it all up. And say it's under 45 pounds, or I'm sorry, 50 pounds. I say 45 just because I don't want to get close to that 50. Because you will be fined if you go over 50. So make sure you stay under 50 with your shipments. But I always would in the past box everything up and then create the shipment. And then after I have everything boxed up, I would look at it and it would tell me like, oh, 5 of the books need to go to this warehouse and then the rest of them go to this warehouse. So then I had to open up the box again, repackage the 5, and then close up that box and then ship it in. And that is, oh my god, that's the most annoying thing in the world, because you literally have to undo your work that you just did, and it just makes it for a long process. So make sure you don't box anything up until Amazon has created the shipment, and then you can go back and try it. And then, I'm sorry, once you have that idea, then you can box it up. Make sure you have the right ones in and all that. Because, oh my goodness, that's the most annoying. Anyways, once I've created the shipment, I've accepted the charges from Amazon, I've got my boxes all boxed up, got them weighed, everything. Then I'm going to hop over to Pirate Ship. If anybody is driving their boxes still to UPS, stop wasting your time. Get an account with Pirate Ship. It's not a monthly fee. They just charge you $4. It's just $4 for every time you ship something. And like with books, you can pay for that with one single book sold. And most of the time, whenever I'm sending in a shipment, the type of books that I'm buying, excuse me, the type of books I'm buying, I'll have it paid for and then some the as soon as it gets checked in. Usually it's quick like that. It's not like a take forever. And so it's very, very well worth the $4 that you're going to be paying. If you're doing traditional OA, that usually takes away one product. I mean, depending on the velocity, obviously, in your ROI and everything. But if you're going for like a high velocity and and squeezing out the margins, but you're moving shit fast, then it'd take like a product or two to pay for that. But it's still worth it. It's so worth it. And like, I mean, where I'm at, I guess it would probably be cheaper to drive to UPS and just drop it off, because I'm really close to UPS. I'm not very far, but it's just the time. It makes no sense to do that when I can just tell them to come pick it up, put it outside underneath the carport, and then they'll pick it up later. That's just my opinion on it. I wouldn't. There was no reason for me to drive to UPS and do that process, in my opinion. But to each his own. If you are really close and you really want to squeeze out that $4, I understand. I did it for a year and a half before I figured out what pirate ship was, and had the people on YouTube was telling me like, just stop. I was like, okay, I'll look into it, and it was definitely well worth it. But and then once you've created your deal on pirate ship, you're good to go. That's the end of creating the shipment, from scanning the book, stickering it, creating the shipment, boxing it up, and then adding it on pirate ship, putting it in the carport, and then it leaves the next day. And that's the process that I go through every time I do a shipment. It's pretty simple, not rocket science or anything, but it is time consuming, and it is monotonous. So turn on your favorite podcast, listen to audio book or something. That way you can get through the shipment without any problems. But speaking of time consuming and monotony, I have to get to that. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.